Hi, guys. It's been a long day. You still have energy? You good? So many amazing speakers here. I'm so lucky to sit here with you, Maria. Thanks. And we've sat together before. We've both been on each other's podcasts.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys know who Maria is. She's an actress, an Emmy Award-winning journalist, a best-selling author, and the founder and CEO of Afterbuzz, which happens to be one of the world's largest digital broadcast networks. And Maria, as a host, you've worked for some of the biggest shows out there, including E! News, Entertainment Tonight, and The Today Show. And as a journalist, you've had sit-down interviews with every U.S. president since Bill Clinton. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not here today, I'm sorry. He couldn't make it. What people may not know here today is that you also had a major health scare that really shifted your perspective in life and work, and I want to talk just a little bit about that. And that's this afternoon. We're here to talk about that and the lessons that you've learned about protecting both your mental and physical health while balancing an incredibly rewarding career. So Maria, thank you so much for being here.
Nice.
Something I ask everyone who comes on Girlboss Radio, and something that everyone here is super curious about, because we all have a beginning, and we look at women like you who've had such storied careers. We all had our start.
Yep.
What was your first job?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. Did you dunk them?
I actually made the donuts.
Cool.
I did. I made the donuts. I made the muffins. I got bigger and bigger every year because of it. I worked there for 6 years.
Because I worked at a donut shop in Seattle called Top Pot. Who's heard of Top Pot? Pretty good. So it was the one on Capitol Hill on Summit. And I worked overnight making donuts. Did you do the thing where there's like a little wiener with a hole, and then you stick the donut on it, and you use this paddle, and you push on the paddle, and stuff squirts into the donut?
Oh!
It's so disgusting.
No, I had the containers with like the jelly or the Bavarian cream or whatever, and you just stab the donut and the cream
With the little
inserts.
thing that has a hole.
Like the little penis.
It's really weird.
And then you
Super
insert
weird.
the donut, and
Has anyone here
magic
ever worked at a
happens.
donut shop?
No other donut shop?
One! Yes! You should be up here with us today. Okay, so you've made it really far since your time at Dunkin' Donuts, which I've heard is really good coffee. So I'm curious, entertainment journalism is very different from making donuts. How did you get into the business of entertainment journalism?
Well, I always say it started at Dunkin' Donuts because I started working there when I was 13, and I was constantly auditioning because you never know how you're going to get discovered, right? So I would sing little jingles behind the counter, and I tried to be Vanna White with donuts, where I memorized where all the donuts were. And if you came in and you'd order a dozen donuts, I'd be like, "What would you like, Sophia?" And you'd be like, "A chocolate frosted." I'm like, "Mm-hmm." And you'd be like, "A honey dip?" I'm like, "Yep."
Old fashioned?
And so I had memorized them, and I knew where they all were. So I did all kinds of things like that. But the real thing happened when I was, there are baby steps. There are tons of baby steps that lead to where you get to. But my biggest thing was getting my first job in LA. My now husband, Kevin, was directing and writing his first film in Boston, and I started working on it. And when we wrapped, someone that worked on the film alerted us to this on-camera job in LA for Channel 1 News, which is a high school-based news program that was delivered directly into classrooms. Did anybody here have Channel 1? Yes, Channel 1. Okay, so Kevin helped me put a reel together, took me shopping. He was my first stylist. We put together a little outfit, and I auditioned and got the job, moved to LA. And Channel 1 was, it was like hard news, but for high school students. So nobody assumed you knew anything. So we really gave the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict or whatever it was. So it was super cool. I interviewed President Bush there. I covered the election, Gore Bush. I had the craziest footage. Like, is it Gore? Is it Bush? Is it Bush? Is it Gore? And from there, I got an agent and ended up getting my job at Entertainment Tonight. And from there, the rest is history.
Yeah. So I want to hear about your work and just focus, because focus is something that's so important to all of us here, and it's this word that gets thrown around, but we're getting bombarded on all sides by all these things we need to do in our personal life and professional life and friends and family and obligations and your calendar. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, but your
I just
calendar.
got anxiety.
Yeah, sorry. Not here to do that to you. So tell me what focus meant for you, or if it meant anything to you earlier in your career, and if that's changed over the years.
So there were people along the way that told me I should just focus on one thing, but I did have a lot of interests. At the same time, growing up poor, I wanted to have a lot of fail-safe. So I wanted to make sure that if I failed at one thing, I had like 10 other things going, or that I was good at a lot of different things. So luckily I had the interest in a lot of things, and I started preparing them so that there would be no issue. But I've recently found in the last few years that my happiest times are when I can just focus on one thing. And I think it's because as women, as you just described, we have to be everything to everyone. We have to be perfect. We have to get our hair done, our nails done, our this, our that. Oh my God, we have to schedule everything for the family. Like if you're with somebody, you're planning the vacation, and we have to do everything. So work-wise, when you have one focus, that's awesome, because we have 1,000 other things that we have to do as well. We have to be the perfect daughter, the perfect employee, the perfect this, the perfect that. I mean,
you don't, but like yeah.
No, but that's our mentality. Like we are chasing these ideals, and of course with social media, it's gotten so much harder. And so I always say to people, like we've become human doings. We're not human beings anymore. And so for me, these last 2 years have been a return to being a human being, and focus is a really cool topic actually, because I really am trying to keep like very narrow focus on things, and it's making me so much happier, because otherwise you have these endless to-do lists and you're trying to remember everything, and that's why you can't go to sleep, because you have so many things. You're like, oh shit, I forgot about that project and this and that.
You only have 5 minutes for your 5-minute journal.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I've really been enjoying, but so there's something that really led to that realization over the last 2 years. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so, well, there was like two things that happened. So almost 3 years ago, it'll be 3 years in August, my mom was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And, your life just gets flipped upside down. And so as I was caretaking for her and working full time, so I was like her Tom Brady, because she, English isn't her first language, and I've always been in charge of everything with my family. And because I have all the contacts, and I'm just, that's my role. I just was in caretaking mode, and I didn't realize that I was having problems. So I was thinking that I was just super stressed, but I was having these nasty headaches and pain in my ear and weird things like slurring my speech, to the point where I would joke on set at E, so I was hosting E! News at the time. Or when I was doing my radio show, I'd be like, oh, sorry guys, it's my stupid brain tumor. And then I had one. And I had no idea that it was really, there was something real behind all those things, the noises. I always say, when our car makes noises, we take it to the mechanic. When our body makes noises, we're like, shut up, I got shit to do. I don't have time for you, And it's true, we put off things like that. And, a lot of ailments really do get disguised under symptoms of stress. And so I found out I had a brain tumor as well. And I realized that that was just kind of the last brick from the sky. It was like, okay, you didn't really hear it with your mom, you got to hear it now with yourself. And I changed my entire life. I had surgery 2 years ago on my birthday. I looked at it as a rebirth, and I changed my life. And now I'm a human being, and I have hobbies, and I live, and thank you. And I feel like it happened to me because I am a communicator, and I feel like my mission is to help you find that oh, I hate this word, balance. fucking hate that word.
Integration.
It doesn't work. It's not a real thing, but I like integration. I like, how do we be a human being? Because being a human being will enrich your work and it will make you better. Taking that break when your head is exploding, when you're so stressed, taking a 5-minute break and just thinking about nothing. It doesn't even have to mean you have to meditate, just taking that break. Or making sure that once a week you're taking a dance class or a guitar class, that's what I'm doing. Whatever it is that lights you up and makes you excited, because that's gonna make you better. And finding that before you run yourself into the ground and before you get a brain tumor. Because what happens is right now, you're all pretty young. And so you can beat the shit out of your body right now. Sorry, I'm kind of crass with my language. I apologize in advance.
Okay, I think I opened the day with an F-bomb.
What?
Nothing. You're good.
So you really, you know, when you're in your 20s, you can totally abuse your body and get away with it. In your 30s, you can still do it, but then it adds up. And the accumulation of the stress, the lack of self-nurturing, the lack of self-love, the lack of self-care will catch up. And that's why we are all sick in that next kind of era, in your late 30s, early 40s, in your 50s, as you go along, because your body can't be in fight or flight all the time and not get sick. And so I was in fight or flight my whole life until then. And so, you know, am I doing it all right? I don't know. I have no model for this new kind of way. I have a podcast every week that you came on, and my life is completely devoted to learning. So I'm bringing in mystics and yogis and gurus and, you know, self-care people so that I can continue the work, so that I can integrate all of these lessons and things into my life, because life goes by super fast. And when you're sick and you get a diagnosis, or you're dying, or you could die, none of the accomplishments matter, guys. None of them. I'm telling you. All I thought about was, oh my God, why did I run myself into the ground? Why did I tell my mom I didn't have time to talk because I was busy emailing somebody? Why did I? What was I thinking? What really matters is being present with your friends, with your family, with whatever you're doing. What matters is how much you give back. What matters is what you're gonna hear. Like one of the coolest things that happened to me was, I didn't tell anybody, because when I found out I had a brain tumor, it was kind of like a holy shit lightning striking moment, and this doesn't happen. Like mother-daughter brain tumors is not a thing, guys. It's not hereditary, it's lightning striking, as doctors have told me. So we found out when my mom's brain tumor was supposedly growing, and my mom's a stage 4 brain cancer. So that was like the scariest moment of our lives. So I couldn't tell them, and therefore I couldn't tell anyone. So I had to hold this secret inside. And a week before surgery, I started to tell a few friends. And that was the cool moment, was because I did invest in my friends. Like I made sure when they needed me, I was there. I didn't get to socialize with them as much as I would have wanted, but I was always there protecting them. Like, as Wilmer, my friend Wilmer said, you're mama bear, you always take care of everybody. And so I got to see what I meant to people, and that's what I realized matters in life, is the people that you positively affect, the people that you touch, the things that you do that are not about accolades and awards and success. And success is in a closet of Chanel bags. Doesn't fucking matter if you're gonna go. What matters is living while you can. And every time you can walk out this door, every time you can dance, someone else can't. And you have to remember that. So.
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't know how I just did that without crying, because a couple times I almost did.
Oh, she's
FYI.
such a crier. She really cries. So you've been in Hollywood for a long time, and you're still in Hollywood, but you've found a way to make it yours. And something people talk a lot about is the toxicity of Hollywood. Did you find Hollywood toxic when you were deep, deep in it every day?
I think that you could say that about a lot of different environments. I mean, I feel like we've definitely seen the other side of Hollywood that's been hidden for so long in the last 2 years. And so, yeah, there are definitely times where I mean, there's a lot of dark times too. But it's hard to say that because it almost comes off like ungrateful. I'm so grateful for everything that I've been able to do in this business, and I'm so grateful for the business. But yeah, there are some not awesome people involved at times, and people that want to, hurt you and extinguish your light.
Yeah.
But that happens across the board, and that's why Afterbuzz TV was so important for me to build, because I see the difficulty when you're trying to start out and build a career. And what I'm really proud of is that we are kind of anybody with a dream's first stop in Hollywood. They come to us, we grow their careers, we nurture them, we teach them. They can learn without being scolded and harassed and any of that. And we've built a network where we have over 300 hosts, and we've mentored and helped over 100 success stories in the business at this point.
So tell us what Afterbuzz TV is, because I didn't completely tee that up for you. But
So Afterbuzz TV is a digital broadcast network that my husband and I co-founded, and it's got a two-part mission. One is to make great content. So we produce after shows for like every TV show. So if you're a Game of Thrones fan or a Bachelorette fan or even like a little Hallmark show fan, we do the after show. We produce the after show. We have about 150 hours of content that we produce a week, and it's global. And the second part mission is to nurture these young talents with dreams and to help them along in their journey. And so we've been doing it for almost 9 years, I think, at this point. Honey, are you around? Honey?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. That's my way of making sure he's listening to me.
So what kind of person who's starting out in their career, like what kind of curiosities or interests, like who is it that should come to you at Afterbuzz TV and say, hey, I'd really like to learn something? Like who is it that shows up to join what you're doing?
So I always say anybody can come be a host at Afterbuzz. And the truth is because if you're a fan of TV, then you have a place. But what I've loved about it is we've had like super introverts, like super shy introverts come in and they like blossom. Like they just, just completely transform. Or we had a girl, she was an MMA fighter. And she came in and she would host an after show for MMA, and Kevin and I took her to a Ronda Rousey fight. At that time, Ronda Rousey wasn't in the WWE. Do we have any WWE fans in here? Yes, loud and proud, baby.
Yeah, Maria's also a wrestler?
Yeah, part-time, undefeated, 4-0.
Not kidding.
So, I remember being like, oh, I really don't like the idea of people punching you in the face. You're so pretty. I'm like, please, I'm so scared. Anyhow, we helped her, and now she's the first LGBTQ female wrestler in the WWE. She's crushing. Her face is all over every billboard.
Wow.
Her name is Sonya Deville. So she was an MMA fighter, and she came in. We have writers, we have all kinds of people. I mean, I scout people at Starbucks and I'm like, you should be a host, or you would be great on a show. And
every barista's dream.
Yeah. So it really can be anybody. And the cool thing is, this is what I love about Afterbuzz. So I believe we are the most diverse company like in the world, and it's not because we're trying. So we have every ethnicity, every color, every size, every age, every gender, non-gender, we have everybody. And so I remember a few weeks ago, we had one of our new host seminars, and this woman came in and she was like shaking. And Kevin was like, why are you shaking? And she's like, I thought you guys were gonna reject me because I'm old. And it broke our hearts, because that's the business that we live in, right? There is an ageism component to it, unfortunately. But at Afterbuzz, there isn't, because the only prerequisite to hosting these shows, I mean, you have to get past the training seminar, and that's really just to see if you're going to be committed and things like that. But anybody can do it, because all you have to do is be a fan of TV. And so it's a really cool place for people to be able to fulfill their dreams and to experience a little bit of that world.
And we're all hard on ourselves regardless of our age. And I think that is part of the reason we're so compelled to succeed. And have you been hard on yourself?
Have I been hard on
I'm
myself?
guessing you've internalized like you're hard on yourself, or you have been hard on yourself.
In terms of?
Just self-criticism, or I'm too old, or I'm too this, or I'm too anything.
I think I'm definitely tough on myself for sure. Honey, am I bad?
You're not bad. But I guess for
Honey?
those of us, honey,
Am I tough on myself?
I think you work too hard.
still.
Actually, those are the things that I'm bad at. So in therapy, I've realized that I never felt like I was enough, which I think is a huge problem for a lot of people, right? Especially women, we never feel like we're enough or we're good enough. And so I think that's what drove my kind of workaholicism. And I used to be so proud of it. Do not aspire to be a workaholic.
What would your advice be to someone who is really, really grinding and wants to find that balance? What are some of the things they can do to kind of take a step back and integrate other ways of being into their life rather than doing?
Yeah, I think there are so many different things that I do at this point.
Yeah, what is your day like? Because we were talking about this concept of work day. Mm-hmm. And like, what is a work day? Like, you just work that day?
I don't know. I don't really
like. I don't want to
feel
call
like
it a work day because I want to do other stuff too. That's not fair. I don't call weekends a life day, or I'm taking a personal day.
Yeah.
So what is a life day?
Yeah, my weeks are my weekends
for
now.
you. That sounds great.
I kind of feel like I feel a little guilty sometimes. Like, am I screwing up? Because like I'll have nothing to do tomorrow, and I'm like, okay, I can just choose to do whatever I want right now. I think so. Back to like the actual tools of like how to integrate some balance. I mean, everybody knows meditation. My favorite one is called the Soul Sync on YouTube. It's amazing. And also Headspace is great because you can do it in 10-minute bits. And I know that it's really hard for all of us to commit to more than that. So I really like that. This sounds so dopey. I really enjoy walking in the grass with my bare feet and just breathing.
Earthing?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I like that. Grounding. I mean, like there's like this amazing, like almost numbing feeling that happens at the bottom of your feet. So you don't even have to like meditate. You can just like go out and breathe. I love like smelling flowers on my walks. I am that person. If you see me walking, I'm stopping at every flower and smelling it. I get very disappointed when I get the roses that don't smell.
You also have a ton of fruit trees all over your house. And I went to her house and it was like the Garden of Eden. Like, here, take some Tangelos. Like, wow, this woman that's amazing.
Yeah. And I think hobbies. So I never had hobbies and I never thought I had a time because I thought, well, you know, workers don't do that. Like, what? You take time for yourself? No. And so now I've gone the opposite way. And I thought I was so intense about it. And I was like, really? It's like 6 hours a week. Do we not have a couple of hours a week to devote to ourselves to be better and to be happier emotionally, spiritually, and in all of those ways? Because it's not just physical. Like, we really kind of mastered okay, we need to work out and, you know, keep physically fit so that we can have good endurance, so that we can continue working at the levels that we want to work. But like, you have to do the other stuff too. And so I took up guitar. So I'll go into a guitar session having had like a very stressful family conversation. I go in, and because I have to be so rock solid focused, because it's so hard, I leave and I'm so uplifted and so happy. 30 minutes, is that a big deal? You can throw that into your work week for one day a week, can't you? Mm-hmm. Whatever that is for you. Is it dance class? Is it, you know, Soul Cycle? Like, whatever it is that's going to make you happy, going and like playing with puppies at the shelter, whatever is going to make you feel good, you need to figure out a way, and things that aren't expensive, right? So you need to figure out how to kind of access your happiness. Like, I have a list of what makes me happy. So in these stressful moments, I know how to access them without cost, right? And so smelling flowers and all of these things that I'm talking about, I do And there are easy things that you can do to kind of shift you. And one of the bigger things is when you are revving high. When I'm revving high, because it still happens, that I'll get triggered by something, or I'll be stressed about my mom or something like that, I stop. Whereas before I used to fuel myself and get more angry and more, and then you're just exploding. So just 5 minutes, you just stop. And then you'll be shocked at how quick your body resets. Or now if I'm really exhausted and I can't handle anything anymore, I'm not gonna reach for the coffee. I do a 16-minute hypnotherapy meditation thing. I lay down, and after 16 minutes, I'm completely refreshed. Even better than having taken a nap, because a nap sometimes will make me a little groggier. So those are some of the things that I do. I hope I'm not forgetting some amazing things, but those are my favorites.
So you mentioned 30 days a week, which are 30 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Which 30 days a week. Feels like it. And that's something I think we can all...
Do you do anything during your week to
don't
replenish
interview
yourself?
me. What do I do?
Don't you all want to know?
Yeah, I cook dinner every single night at my house.
You do?
I don't have business dinners.
You cook dinner every
I cook dinner
night?
every single
And you
night.
haven't invited me? Are you not a good cook?
I don't entertain. I cook dinner, I eat it mostly alone, and then my boyfriend comes home, and I'm like, I made dinner for you. And he's like, no, you made dinner for yourself, and thank you, there's food here, but yeah. No, he's grateful.
So is that meditative for you?
It is really meditative. Yeah, because I'm like chopping stuff. It's like baking, literally. I mean, it's not baking, but it's like playing. It's playful.
That's so
It's
cool.
really fun. So like,
I love cooking too. I find
I go
it
to
be
work
really
and I go
stressful.
home. So talk about focus. It's like you have enough stress, just like go home. But saying yes in your early career is also really important. I'm just in the no phase right now. But you mentioned 30 minutes a day, and I mean
30 minutes? No, it's like
Fuck,
a week. You can do it a week.
I'm sorry. And I think that's something that we can all do. So I want anybody here who thinks that you can carve out another 30 minutes of your week. Can you guys, who can commit to that? Can we all commit to that? 30 minutes a week. Make yourself food. Cereal doesn't even take that long.
Can we go up to an hour? I think we can do an hour.
Do an hour. Go to
Hour.
Soul Cycle. Anyway, Maria, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I know.
Thanks, everybody.